America. White man came, killed everybody. Sad story. That's the reputation of Columbus these days. But you know what? It's so not true. The first white man that came here lived in peace. They want you all to think that Columbus was the first white man that came here. Santa Maria. And just what a bigot he was, and how he enslaved them, and he said bad things about them, even though he came in the name of Christ. And you know what? I really don't think that that's the full story on Columbus. I really think his name has been besmirched. I think we're not getting the full history. But let me tell you something, this is what we're really not getting. Columbus was last white so-called discoverer of this land. The Celts, the ancient Celts, made their way here. They were seamen, and you know what, so did the Phoenicians. There are artifacts in the United States of Phoenician inscriptions in this land. Let me turn to page 168. Yeah, this is such an awesome book. It talks about Libyan ships getting over here. Talks about Celtic ships getting over here. Let me just read this caption. It says, no detailed picture of an ancient Celtic ocean-going ship has yet been discovered, but from the account of them given by Julius Caesar, we can recognize most of the characteristic features of Celtic ships, the Irish and the Scots. The Celts were in France, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, right? Celtic ships in the bas-relief of a Tartessian ship found in Lebanon. Tartessian means Tarshish, a ship of Tarshish. There's a bas-relief right here. It means it's an artwork where it's a wall and then there's a raised area above the wall. That's the meaning of bas-relief. And so this was found in Lebanon. This is what a ship of Tarshish looked like. Cool, huh? Save for the steering oar near the high stern, stern means the back of the ship, to the right of the illustration. So this is the stern right here. This is the back of the ship. And so it has steering oar. There were no oars other than that. So the steering oar, that's basically the rudder and the tiller. The ship relied upon wind power, utilized by skillful adjustment of the yards, carrying the heavy leather sails. Leather sails? Caesar notes that the Celtic ships were able to travel on the open ocean, were strong enough to withstand tempest and high waves. He records that the Roman galleys of his own fleet were much inferior to the vessels of the great Celtic navy that gathered to attack the Romans in 55 BC. Julius Caesar was an Edomite, not Celt, not Ephraim. So he doesn't get the blessings of the deep that lieth under. He doesn't get to be the great seaman. That's why their ships are inferior to the Celtic ships. So I wanted to show you evidence that they were in America. Page 23. No, sorry. Page 168. This whole book is about archaeology of ancient Americas. Here we go. Okay, here's some pictures of some Phoenician gods, okay, idols. This is Bel, okay? Were the Israelites Baal worshippers? Yes, that was one of God's complaints. I could be wrong on this. It says, the Phoenician at home and abroad retained his characteristic high-crowned hat, the hennin, worn on formal occasions. It is here illustrated by two terracotta figurines. Okay, I was wrong. This was not a Bel idol. This was a figurine of a Phoenician and their hat, I guess. It says an American example. Oh, here you go. So it's an American example on the left. They found this in America. And It was excavated from a mound builder burial. The mound builders were in the Mississippi area, the Hopewell civilization of the Mississippi civilizations. The Hopewells were an ancient tribe. They were Ephraim basically, and they're just amazing. They don't teach us about those in school. They think it's only the Indians, only the Gadites. No, the Gadites were not the only ones in ancient America. But they were mound builders. Ephraim were mound builders in the in this area, in this country. So this is a Phoenician found excavated from mound builder burial ground, and this one looks exactly the same. It was found in Hagia, a Cyprus museum. Cyprus is an island located just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Israel. It's a large island, long and narrow island, south of Turkey, just west of Israel, in the Mediterranean Sea. So this was found on Cyprus. Obviously, nations are going to be going to Cyprus. This is found in Hopewell, or is found in the Mound Builder excavation in the United States. Obviously, same people. And then, page 170. Let's look at a bunch of rocks, and there are these inscriptions that have been scratched on the rocks. Let me read the caption. The 500 inscribed stones collected in the Susquehanna Valley by the late Dr. William Strong comprise Celt-Iberia. Now, Iberia is another word for what? Spain. Now, that comes from Eber, or Hebrew, but Iberia is another word for Spain. So Celt-Iberian are the Celts that were living in Spain. So Celtiberian, Phoenician, and Basque. The Basques are also Ephraim. Grave markers from a Bronze Age settlement about, look at these dates, this is why I like this book, his dates are accurate, 800 to 600 BC. Marjorie recording the death of a Punic mark is the letter Wa. No way a plow is going to accidentally scratch a mark stones looking like this. No. Obviously, the archaeologist that said that the bad boy was the first one as the devil in history. They want to cast the white man. No, we lived in peace amongst them. And this is evidence of it. So the Celts came from Ireland, from England, and they started their own civilizations in the Mississippi area, and the Susquehanna. This one's from the Susquehanna Valley. 800 to 600 BC. That was darn long ago. Long before Columbus. Okay, now the Y-shaped letter is Wa. Does that bear any resemblance to the ancient Hebrew letter Wa? Let's see here. What's the ancient Hebrew for Wa? Yep. Does that look like a Y-shaped to you? Yes, it is. It's ancient Hebrew letter for Wa. Ancient Hebrew, right here. Okay? The Y-shaped mark is the letter Wa, signifying mourning. So he knows what the ancient Phoenician alphabet was, and he knows what it represented. Get this book. I so recommend it. You're not going to find it in your library. You got to No, don't even go there. Yeah, you got to look your best, but don't even. He knows what the ancient Phoenician alphabet was, and he knows what it represented. Get this book. I so recommend it. You're not going to find it in your library. You got to get it off Amazon. Watch out, get it soon, because they're bumping up those prices. They don't want information. Oh, here's another one. Okay. This is one of the last ones I'm going to show you. Did the Phoenicians discover America? Page 23. How about we take a look and see what we find at page 23? There's so much good stuff in here. Basically, the Aztecs were my tribe too. Ephraim is a silly dove without a heart. So obviously, you know, they're taking their hearts out of people when they're doing the sacrifices to the sun god. There you have it, a silly dove without a heart. Take out your F. But he talked about this, how the Phoenicians had similarities to the Aztecs. Now, mostly he talks a lot about their lunisolar calendar, and the Hebrews used a lunisolar calendar. The calendar that we're using in modern day America, it's not lunisolar, it's just solar. It doesn't have anything to do with the phases of the moon. But the Hebrews calendar took into account both the sun and the moon changes. And so did the Aztecs. Okay, here's a reading from page 23. The object of the Phoenician merchant was wealth, not fame, and while possessing that quality of inflexibility of purpose which won for them in their own, if not for all time, a preeminent position among nations, they seem to have stopped there. For record other than fragments, we have found none. So they were looking for wealth, gold miners. Here, this chart I wanted to show you, it shows you the route that they took to get to what we call the Americas. Okay, they started here around Europe. This route actually begins around Spain. And then it shows you the route that they took around Africa. So they circumnavigated Africa. They went in here into the Persian Gulf, and they went back. They went through here, very close to India, and they went north of Australia, through here, through the Pacific Islands, and into this area of South America and this area of Mexico. That is the route that we have recorded here. Oh, on nations built the pyramids wherever they sailed and settled. So some of the pyramids in Mexico could have been of Phoenician origin. Talks about how the Phoenicians would build walls around their cities, and says in Genesis 49 that Joseph is a fruitful bough and with branches that run over a wall. We build walls. My people, we build walls. I mean, look at how you want to go to the white neighborhood in any city, it's going to be behind a wall. The more wealthy areas, they're going to be in gated communities, right? Invariably, it will be behind a stone wall. It always makes me think of Stonewall Jackson when I say that. He was Ephraim too. But the shepherd and stone of Israel comes out of Joseph. Stone. We do a lot with stone, and we build stone walls. The Phoenicians built stone walls. We build stone walls, and we live behind them in a gated community. Joseph is separated from his brethren. That's why we do that. Joseph is separated from his brethren. We live behind the gated communities, and so we don't live in the midst of the tribe of Issachar.